Right, so we're back at the series 1. I put the missing collet here in this valve, and many thanks to all those who contributed to that. I had to delete the shout out because I was getting so many people that would get confusing. I'd get about 100,000 collets. Anyway, the person who supplied it didn't want to be named, so therefore we'll forget that. Now, one thing I wanted to show you about this head before we plonk it on is this is a Weber carburetor. Now, if you ever put a Weber carburetor on one of these, you need to lengthen the stud because the base here is thicker. All right. I found out in the past I couldn't even get a full nut on, whereas you can see now I've got a washer, spring washer, and a nut and a few more threads. That's a lot better. I like that idea because it was right funny about. Why didn't I put a Solex on? Well, an exchange one is like an exchange one from Craddock's is 250 quid and they want 250 quid exchange. I don't think £500 is worth it when you can pick a Weber up for like 60 quid. So what's the thing to do now? Well, we need to go across here and we need to prep our head up. Yeah, so this is the gasket. It's just like a stamped sheet metal gasket, but and it looks a bit sort of awful. But what we're going to do is we're going to coat it with this aviation former gasket seal liquid. Now it's runny like hell, but I think it's going to make a good job because it's good enough for an aeroplane. It's good enough for me. So we're going to put it on the right way up. Make note it's where is it now? This side up, like that, and then we're going to plonk the head on. So here we are, that's that coated on. It's like sort of very sticky toffee pudding. It says this side up. I'm going to line it up on those 2 bolts there, and that's it. Now why are we using that stuff? Well, these heads are kind of old, and they've got a little bit of rust in them, in pockets and places, which we don't know where it is, so we need something that's going to stick, you know, because once these have compressed, that's it, you can't go back. I think it should work. Well, it's better than nothing, isn't it? So let's have a look at the head. Is it going to fit? I don't know. Well, it should be. It came off this engine. Oh, jeez, everything's bloody heavy on this. Right, here we go. This lightweight head. This weighs as much as a Tesla. There's 1 bolt. Pipe out the way. Oh, where's that stuck? Oh, it's on the bloody bolt of the distributor. Boom. There we go. Right, all we've got to do now is find the bolts and bolt it down. Now there is a torque for these oh, I forgot to tell you one crucial part. Look, when you put these on, let's take it off again. Damn, it's stuck there. Well, I'll have to describe it to you. On the water pump, there is a brass ring and a rubber O-ring that sandwiches between here and here. I'm not going to take it off again, I'll probably lose it. But the other night I held it on with some RTV, knowing that I'd put this head on and forget about it. Anyway, the idea is when you compress the head, it'll compress that rubber O-ring and everything should be fine. Right, let's get some bolts in. Right, we've got the rocker shaft on. That was like the Sudoku of mechanics, trying to work it out, because everything seems to want to move everywhere. You've got to line up dowels here and here and here and here. Also you've got to get the bolts in, which is different size, and they're on dowels. What a bloody mess about. You need to be like an octopus. No wonder these never caught on. I'm going to do the head bolts now. We're going to use it old school, we're going to use the old balance beam, or what do you call it now? Parallel bars, like Olga Corbett. We've got a bolt pattern here, which is sort of vague. It says order of tightness of cylinder heads. Those marked X are securing the rocker shaft, but it doesn't give you a torque. I guess those are a different size. It's very vague. It says here, cylinder head bolts, 7/16 BSF are £50 and 3/8 BSF are £30. These are £30, these little ones here. So let's get on with it. Now, number 1, 2, 3 and 4 are these ones here. So let's get some sockets ready. That's that one. And that's that one. There you go. Watch them getting the instructions blown away. Like a fart on the thunderstorm. Right. £50, eh? Number 1. £50. Oh, it's not much. Bloody hell. £50. I mean, £50 is about 42 Newton meters. I suppose if you worked in Aidensfield and Scripps' garage, you'd know these off by heart. 5, 8, number 9. I guess these two middle ones here must be, oh, they're a really funny size. Anyway, let's go around them all on the big bolts and make sure they're all 50. 50. 50. See, look how they've moved, eh? 50. 50. There's something new here. 50. Look at that, that was loose as buggery. 50. I think I forgot that one. 50. 50. That's why I don't like these metal baskets. 30, 40. Yeah, I still get a little bit on them, you know. Right, now we've got to put these bolts in. Now here, they're really an unusual size because they seem to be like, what's that, 16mm. But a regular socket won't fit on it. It won't go on. I have to get an adapter. This should be 50. See, look there. See. 50. 50. I'm happy with that. Very rare you see me happy. So, the next thing, we've got to set the valve clearances. Fortunately we can turn the engine over. I've got the fan belt on, the old one. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. You can see where the... wait a minute. There you can see down there. Can you see here? See where the gasket material's squidged out, look. That's good, that's good stuff. That brown poo. Yeah, no, that's come out. So that's a good sign. I think that's going to be really good stuff. Obviously it's not a race car, is it? I mean, Lewis Hamilton's not going to take it out on Sunday afternoon, is he? But anyway, let's do the valve clearances. The valve clearances should be 10 thousandths of an inch. Now, I've had my gauges out somewhere. Let me find them, let me set those up. We've done feeler gauges before, haven't we? Haven't we? Right, I've just done a couple of valves, but if you don't know, the firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. So that means number 1, 3, 4, 2. I've already done 1 and 3, so the next one to turn to check is number 4. Now how do we do that? Well, we look at the distributor. It's really easy. Now, if you'd noticed, when I took this off, I put some tie wraps around the HD leads, so I knew which lead was which, because I'm not really familiar with petrol engines anymore. 1 tie wrap on there, 2 on number 2, 3 on number 3, and nothing on number 4 because it's a waste of tie wraps because there's nowhere else to put it. So now we need to turn the distributor till it's over here. And the mighty compression of this engine will just allow me to do that. That's close enough. So now we check this one with 10 thousandths of an inch. My God, it's close. Oh, I've already got that one loose now. Everything's so weak on these engines, like you don't want to over tighten them because you'll end up pushing the spring down, but all you want is a gentle bit of resistance through there. Put your ring spanner on, lock it down with your spanner, and then lock it down with your nut. That's lovely. There's lovely. So now we're going to do 1, 3, 4, number 2, which is this one. A little bit more. I had one of these, a 6-cylinder once many years ago when I was unemployed. It was the worst vehicle you could have ever had when you were unemployed. Drank petrol like a fish. You know, it was unbelievably thirsty. And I don't know what had happened. I was driving down the dual carriageway and a couple of the intake valves decided to let loose. And we had no power, and yeah, so I had to stop the side of the road and try and adjust the valves the best I could. Another story for another day. Yeah, not a good vehicle to have when you're employed. Dear me, that was thirsty. How people manage to run them things, I don't know. Right. I should have mentioned, when you do the cylinder head bolts, there's no washers or spring washers under them at all, there's nothing. Crazy, eh? Now, all we've got to do now is put the rocker box on. When we do the rocker box on this here beast, we're going to put, you can see how nice and clean this is, but we're going to put a few dabs of blue Hylamar, more of as an adhesive than anything else. because a lot of people make mistakes of putting these rocker box gaskets on. You know, I clag them on with the best glue ever on both sides of the gasket. Well, you don't really need to. All you need to do is put it on the rocker box. Why? Because if you ever set the valves again and it's stuck both sides, you'll end up buying a new gasket. But if you do it on the on this side here, well, you won't need to buy a new gasket. What we're going to just put the top on. So what we're going to do is just lay this gasket on like this. See, and also remember that these gaskets have been in storage since like 1764. So they're going to get a bit dry. So you see what I mean? Now when you put this on, move that out the way. Make sure that the surface is dry. Make sure this gasket doesn't move. Cork is very forgiving, but don't over tighten it. We ready? Now you might have to adjust your gasket because it's a very tricky one to get on. And look all around, make sure you can see gasket. If you can't, just take it off, like that there, look, you see. And let this high lamar tack off. See, I was rushing it a bit there. But let this high lamar tack off. Let's put it on here again. Let it stick. Because you have to fight against the HT leads and stuff like that. Press it down. I'm going to leave this a few minutes, I'll come back.